field of spaceflight has once again been generous in the past few days, bringing us a series of intriguing events. In today's video, we will focus on the three most important topics. We will begin by highlighting the launch of the Crew 7 mission, which was fully international. The second topic will cover the static fire test of the SuperHeavy B9 rocket, which is preparing for a flight with the Starship 25 spacecraft. We will conclude today's video on the Moon, examining the progress of the Pragyan rover that was deployed by the Vikram lander. On August 26th at 7:27 Universal Time, the silence of the Florida night was shattered by the ignition of 9 Merlin rocket engines. Thanks to them, the Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from Launch Complex 39A.
Full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, go Crew 7.
Endurance ascends and
The first stage was used for the first time, and once again, an attempt was made to recover it. At the beginning of launches with Crew Dragon spacecraft, the first stage would land on a sea platform. However, SpaceX's experience allowed for optimizations, and the stage was able to return to land. This marked only the second instance of a Crew Dragon mission where the first stage landed on land. After reaching orbit, the Crew Dragon spacecraft separated from the second stage. Its re-entry capsule, named Endurance, was used for the third time. The spacecraft adjusted its orbit to approach the International Space Station. Crew Dragon arrived at its destination on the second day after launch, on August 27th. In the anatomical seats of the spacecraft, there was a 4-member crew, each member hailing from a different country. The commander was American Jasmine Mogbelli on her first mission. The mission pilot was Danish astronaut Andreas Mogensen, experiencing his second spaceflight. Interestingly, it was the first time that a Crew Dragon pilot wasn't a US citizen. The third crew member was Japanese astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, also on his second space mission. The crew was completed by Russian cosmonaut Konstantin Borisov, flying to space for the first time. The Crew Dragon attached to the International Space Station with a slight delay compared to the original plan due to an issue with one of the GPS modules, but it didn't impact safety in any way. The connection between Crew Dragon and the station occurred on August 27th at 13:15 Universal Time. Subsequently, checks for a secure seal were conducted, and at 14:33, the hatches between the station and the spacecraft were opened. The crew could then enter the station, where they met the current inhabitants. 11 people will remain on the ISS for just a few days. On September 1st, the 4-member Crew 6 mission will return. The current Crew 7 mission crew is expected to stay on the station for approximately 6 months. On August 25th, SpaceX began fueling the SuperHeavy B9 rocket. The liquid oxygen tank was fully loaded, while the methane tank was partially filled. It was clear that SpaceX was attempting a second static fire test of this rocket. Local residents were notified in advance, as is customary for such tests. At 17:37 Universal Time, it all started. First, the FireX system activated, releasing a mixture of water and nitrogen under the engines to prevent an explosion. Simultaneously, water began spraying from the ground, and then the actual ignition took place. The commentator confirmed that the planned duration of the test had been achieved, but detailed information awaited a preliminary analysis. As we later learned, all 33 Raptor engines were ignited this time, which was the first time it happened. However, 2 engines shut down prematurely. It was also confirmed that the thrust during the static fire reached 3,600 tons, which would mean the engines were operating at roughly half their maximum thrust. After the test, photographs appeared showing fragments of concrete around the launch pad, but it's still uncertain if and how much it was damaged. If everything is in order, SpaceX could proceed to stack the Super Heavy and Starship this week. The next step would involve pre-launch simulations combined with tank filling. After that, all that would remain is awaiting approval from the Federal Aviation Administration. In the previous video, we celebrated the remarkable success of Indian spaceflight. The Chandrayaan-3 mission successfully landed on the moon. In that video, we also showed the Pragyan rover deploying from the Vikram lander onto the surface. Today, we will showcase the rover's first movements on the moon's surface. The Pragyan rover itself weighs only 26 kilograms. It relies on a vertically positioned photovoltaic panel to generate power. This configuration is necessary due to the landing site's proximity to the moon's south pole. In these regions, the sun is low on the horizon, so the solar panel needs to be raised vertically. The Pragyan rover is equipped with 2 scientific instruments, both of which are spectrometers. These instruments help determine the chemical composition of rocks and lunar regolith. Both the Vikram lander and the Pragyan rover have been performing well, collecting valuable data. Both machines have an expected operational lifespan of 14 days from landing. After this, the lunar night will arrive, bringing temperatures as low as -130 degrees Celsius. It's anticipated that such extreme cold will render their onboard electronics inoperable. Thank you for watching Spaceflight News. Our show is now being released once every 3 days, so you can look forward to the next episode on Thursday, August 31st. And if you don't want to miss any episodes, you can simply subscribe.